Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, everyone. The protest is now over. They did phenomenal. So thank you, everyone, for sitting through and cheering them on. Um, I've been trying to say hi to everybody in the chat as they come up. Miss Sunrise Dawn, nice to see you. No Talk Tony. Um, Here we go. I'm on time. Love you, Liz. Love you too. Promise I do. Hey, Pup Groomer. Nice to see you. And Retired Red. It's always good to see you. Juliana was in the chat. I don't know if she still is, but we love Miss Juliana. So today was going to be a little different. Today because I've been going over a lot of my past, and that's the reason why I put the three pictures up. I keep getting stuck in some of the stuff that is happening. Now, for me, it's pretty simple. We, we have this opportunity to get people out, but there's also a realistic hope that we have to have. Well, at the same time, I did that. That was my mic, everybody. Sorry, I forgot to retighten it. That was my bad. But I keep remembering my past, and by remembering my past, it's allowing me. Oh, it's the lifeboat. Hi, Tommy. Nice to see you. It is glorious to see you, Mr. Tommy. But I keep remembering what it was like to be a kid, remembering the streets of LA, and that sounds like I was almost like hanging out in the streets. Well, I kind of was. There wasn't a lot of supervision for us. Sophia, nice to see you. Parallel Jen, thank you so much. But there was a lot of empty space. There was a lot of craving for attention, craving for food. Aurora, nice to see you. And I keep having these memories come up. And it wasn't until I was talking to a friend of mine, and a very dear friend. We were talking about, what kind of love have we experienced before? For me, Miranda, thank you so much for coming. The main love that I've experienced, or that I build a lot of bridges on, or that I, basically, point out what I think and what I feel, is my Nana. And she died when I was 12 years old, but she was born in 1906, everybody. So before we get all, I'm so sorry for your loss. She had an amazing life. Marie, thank you so very much for being here. Inappropriate Heifer, nice to see you. Sunrise Dawn, always good, everybody. But that's what I use as my basis, like almost like a flat line for what I believe love is. Now, I keep giving my mom chance after chance after chance, and I keep giving my dad chance after chance after chance. Then he died, so there was no more chances, or at least so I thought, there was no more chances that I could get with my dad. Then I find out he's alive, and I'm trying so desperately hard to get the message to him. I'm trying every single day to keep the message going, because the people inside, they're almost like they're in a box. Their bubbles are basically saying, help me, help me, help me. But the people inside are so scared to tell anybody that that's what they want, that it basically turns into this horrible situation where, Tyler, nice to see you. Poet, thank you so much. But it turns into this situation where we're almost like, we're shaking them to wake them up, to say, hey, you're loved. There's love out here. But since we have to fight so desperately hard to know the definition, did they have to fight so desperately hard to know the definition? Because, sorry about that. Inside, it's almost like love isn't an option. Love doesn't exist. It's like a false hope for a fake future. But it's on the outside world that you really learn love. because inside you could be 14 years old and they marry you off to someone. And then that's when you can finally get a room to yourself with this person you just married that could be 20 years older than you, or could be your soulmate. They could have found, look at Mark and Claire. They found each other. Jamie, nice to see you. Missed you. Um, but we also come to this realization that the outside world has more love in it. It's like that song, All We Need Is Love, from Moulin Rouge. And it turns into, they don't really know what love is. Some of them went into the Sea Org when they were case sensitive. Nice to see you. Most of them went into the Sea Org, like my dad went into the Sea Org when he was in his 20s. And well, he was staff in his 20s and then joined the Sea Org. Now, I don't know what caused the rift between my parents. And right now I've been dealing with the fact that I remember this fight that they had, and it was a fight about scars. And so I'm realizing there's a good chance that my dad knew exactly what was going on with me, where his, Michelle, nice to see you. It's been a long time. But my dad may have known. My dad may have known that I was being abused. And if my dad knew that I was being abused and he did nothing, that makes him just as guilty. That makes him just as guilty. Because, a friend of mine once said, it's up to the brave to stand up, but it's the few that say nothing that are the problem. And so everyone here and everyone listening, you're part of the solution. Because here you are saying that this isn't acceptable. This isn't okay to have happen. And that's what we need. Because inside you don't know. You don't know. And I promise you, if you were at the protest, anything like that, they'll point out the window and be like, oh, look at those horrible people. Look at them. Look at them. But you can't say that we were being nasty, because no matter what, we will never be nasty. We will never be unkind. Because just because it happened to us doesn't mean that we're going to give that same nastiness to someone else. Lara, as much as she has been through, she still 100% was like, come on out, come on. But here's what's missing. And it wasn't until I had this conversation. People don't debate anymore. People don't. People can run from the situation. People can sit there and say, yeah, we debate. But sit down and have a conversation. Why is it that they love Scientology? What keeps their attention in Scientology? But a lot of times they're going to answer you, it's from my wins. It's from my wins, everybody. I had wins. They were glorious. They were magnificent. But if you ask them to define those wins, like if I win a baseball game, the win is the baseball game. That's whether I hit 2 out of the park, I hit 1 out of the park, I made a home run. It's the idea of you can pinpoint what it is. Now, inside, it's not like that. I can guarantee you that you will not know how to define it, because even me as a kid, I did not know how to define it. I did not know how to explain love. I knew that I didn't feel it with boys, but I knew that my heart would go, if a girl was nearby, and my palms would get sweaty, and it kept telling me again and again and again, hey, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the biggest sin is what they think, technically what you are. And so you just have to keep hiding. But if you're hiding who you are, what are you winning? Like, realistically, I'm not trying to be a smart butt. I'm not trying to be nasty. But if you're hiding that you're hungry, okay, because you're going to be hungry. You're going to be hungry in there. You're going to be told by people that are above you, whether it's your commanding officer. Mousy, thank you so much. Selma, hey. Anybody I haven't said hey to, Faye, I see you. I see you. Denver, brother. I can't wait to do movie trivia with us. Movie trivia, man. Movie trivia. We're gonna name all the good ones. But we also have to, come to a realization that I know that your goal with me is to get my father out, But here's the thing, I don't want you guys to be set up for failure either. And so I'm coming at this as a realist. There's a good chance I'm not going to get him out, but I could get someone else out. And maybe that's someone else's daughter, son, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, mother. I don't care. Grandma. And if we get one person out because of hearing my story, I'm okay with that. I really am. Would I love it to be my father? More than words can explain. But I'm also having a very hard time with the fact that I have a memory of them yelling at each other over scars. And I don't think it had anything to do with my mom's, but I don't know for a certainty. I don't even know if it was about me. It could have just been about, I got a scar on my thumb today. I got a boo-boo, you know. But Joni, thank you so very much. Amy Jones. Hold on, we got a new one, ladies and gentlemen, for Heaven and Grim. I kind of like that. But it's also a situation where when you're on the inside, so as a kid, you're told that your parent is doing the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics. Here's the thing. You're their second dynamic, which means you're their family. Means nothing. If you're ignoring the second dynamic, but you're going gung-ho on making sure the group is good and you're making sure that the world is clear, you're told all of this horse manure. And realistically, it's totally okay if you're ignoring your kid. If your kid is not eating, it's totally okay. Because realistically, that's why they call it the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics. Because even if you're ignoring one of them, 2, 3, doesn't matter. If you're ignoring your family or you've decided your family does not matter, then it's okay. All right. I see a question real quick. I want to get to that. Miranda, question. Do you think that he was told it was being handled so they wouldn't have case on post when he had to go back? I don't know. To be honest, if he really did try to escape, and I really, from the depths of my soul, believe that he tried to escape, he's 72. He's going to be 73. And literally, let's see, today's the 5th. So less than 20 days. In less than 20 days, technically 18 days, and he's going to be 73. 18. That has me so excited and so scared and so happy. All in one. But they're going to tell him that I'm super out ethics. Look at all these horrible things that I'm doing to his religion. And they're going to lock him up and they're going to keep pressure on him, and one of these days I'm going to be able, I realize that I need to reach out to Mark Headley and be like, hey, you knew my dad. What are some of the things that could be happening to him if he did try to escape? I know Dex, not eating, taken away from the group. Nobody's allowed to talk to you. But I'd really like to know what they did at Gold, because I know what they did at CC. And for those of you that don't know CC, that is Celebrity Center International. But there's a lot of things. I hope that answered your question. If not, circle back and we'll do it again. Okay, my goal is being here to help support you and other SPs whenever I can. If that includes you getting your dad out, awesome. If not, I'm still here to support you. And I don't want to tell you there's no chance of that, because there is a good chance of it. But in the same breath, I also am a big realist now, because the more that I wake up and the more that I realize that what happened to me was horrible, it's not putting a smile on it. It's not I can't decorate my past in roses. I don't quite understand sarcasm and I don't understand certain things. So I misunderstand things very easily. What you or anyone that grew up on the outside world may understand could be told to me in the exact same way, and I could think it's completely out of left field. But you understand it, and there's nothing. I just have to keep working on it, because unfortunately, even though I'm 43 years old, I don't understand things very well, and that's my own fault for believing in a cult until I was 40 years old. If again, I tell you guys all the time, if someone would have told me 5 years ago that I'd be doing this, we're going to pull a pink. Mischief, nice to see you. But I probably would have swung, could have been like, why would I make fun of something that helped me learn so well? Did they though? Because I had private tutors. I had to get private tutors so that I could learn how to read. So realistically, no, they didn't help. You know, they supposedly taught me this course on how to the best way to learn. Okay, so and in case you didn't know, the big thing that they like to focus on is there's like 3 steps that prevent you from learning. Okay. So the first one is called lack of mass. That means that you're not picturing it in your head. If you're reading about butterflies and you've never seen a butterfly, it makes it really hard for you to picture the wing color and the different colors that are available, or just different species. Um, and then at the same time, you have, too steep a gradient. So that means you're going from reading like The Cat in the Hat to suddenly you're reading Of Mice and Men. You know, it's it is very different to read that. It's not an easy jump. And then you have the misunderstood word. Okay, simple. There's three things. Now the thing about it is when you grow up in Scientology, you honestly believe, I know I did. I believed that L. Ron Hubbard created that he created this tech to help us learn to be a better person, to be a better daughter, to be a better mother, whatever it may be, that this tech was created by him. When you wake up, you realize he didn't create anything. He created a cult and he stole ideas from people. And unfortunately, I don't think anybody on the inside really realizes just how much he stole from people and then called it his own. It's the same situation that has gone through history for years and years and years. Certain people say, I invented that. Someone comes along and says, oh, show me how you made that work. Then that person will take over that invention and be like, oh, no, you didn't invent that. You didn't show me how this works, when they did. And so for us, I realized that the reason I'm doing a lot of this YouTube is because I want you to understand that they twist it. They plant little parts that are the truth. Like someone did invent it. Someone did have this work. Laura, I see you. I'm here listening. I love your face. Love your face. But PTS for life. Nice to see you. Mischief. Parallel Jen. Thank you. Selma. Sorry, Liz, I need to sleep already. Oh, dang. 4800. Dang. Well, thank you so very much, Selma, for showing up. I appreciate it. Tessa, thank you so much for showing up. And Walsh, I'm seeing all of you in here and I love it. Because I'm just trying to explain. Now, I also had another memory pop up when I was sitting down and I was looking at a picture of my dad and I sitting. It's the same one that's on the thumbnail. Now, that one basically stayed like the picture of my dad and we were sitting near my grandparents' house. And I remember one day I had that picture and I was like, look, Dad, look, I don't have to wear these kind of clothes anymore. And I remember holding it in my pocket because I thought it was so cool that my shirt had a pocket just like his, except my shirt didn't have any ink stains. And then I somehow embarrassed my dad by telling him that my mom is my mom and I'm not going to call his wife or girlfriend my mom. Like, that's just not going to happen. And I remember he was so mad and he was so embarrassed that he started to take off his belt. And in that moment, I realized that, I didn't understand. So I took off running. He never hit me, never, ever laid a hand on me, but I took off running and I didn't know where I was going to end up and it didn't matter. So in those breaths, when it's like not the best feeling, if he doesn't want to come out, that's his choice. And we all have to remember, I don't want to take anyone's religion from them. If they want to continue believing in this, then that's fine, but they just have to have the correct information. Don't believe that LRH did all of these things. Like, he wasn't a war hero. He didn't receive medals. You don't get a medal for having a sprained ankle. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if you have a sprained ankle and, you're bleeding profusely and you're dragging someone to safety, maybe. We're going to go with, those are the maybes, but not he's not a hero for just putting some pictures up of him. He's spreading propaganda like it's like, see how amazing I am, see how wonderful I am. Look, no. He's not a good person. Look at how many marriages he destroyed. And now we have, David Miscavige, this short man that has a superiority complex. Like, he's just the coolest person in the world. And, look, he runs the Church of Scientology, but don't tell anybody he runs the Church of Scientology, because he doesn't want anyone else to come after him. He doesn't want anybody coming after him like they tried to go after LRH for all of his lies. But let's see if because in that very same breath, think about it this way. If the IRS actually truly takes a good look, why would he need a $50,000 watch? Why does he need to fly private jet? Why does he need to wear $10,000 to $20,000 suits when everybody else is wearing like a $10 outfit? That'd be nice to know, because I know in Celebrity Center, where we're supposed to be around celebrities and we have to walk and talk a certain way and we have to be so polite and they rule the world. We had to act like they were gods, but they're not gods. My dad's not a god. My mom's not a god. I'm not a god. I'm literally just flesh and blood. I've had my ups and downs of life, but we're striving for better. And so in going over these memories, I just want everyone to know that sometimes those memories are going to be hard. They're not going to be easy for us, but we're human. We all bleed the same color. Our brains got fried just like the other person. And sometimes we have to ask for assistance. And sometimes we have to ask people, hey, does this make sense? Does this make sense to you? Because I do. I ask people all the time. I'll even ask people, I may call Denver and be like, "Hey, Denver's still here." I may call Denver and be like, how did this go? Did that make sense? Because sometimes we just have to check in. But for me, checking in is the hard part. Well, actually, no, it's more checking in is the easy part. The hard part is remembering all of the times. And there were times that I had good memories. Like, learning how to make a mud ball to me was so fun. Rushing, like, they had these two gates that you had to go through. Like, so there was the security door that you had to doot, 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 and then you'd have to sneak there, and then you'd have to hold the door a certain way so that way someone else would get the door on the other side. And if they got the door on the other side, then I easily made it to my mom. So I got off on being the sneakiest person ever. Hey, Miss Amy Scobie. You're just checking in. Always. I always checked in on you. You looked phenomenal today. I do love the outfit, but we have some good memories. They just seem to be overpopulated by bad ones. I had my first birthday party, from what my mom was telling me. It was in Incom. Now, Incom is a very secure private place. And my mom had gotten permission to make a cake in the galley because my mom, to put herself through college, had made wedding cakes to help pay some of those bills. And so she made me a cake in the galley, and then she shared it with everybody in Incom. And I got some pretty nail polish, and I got a new pair of shoes, and something else, but I don't remember what it was. Apostate Alex, thank you so very much for showing up. I was just watching your live. I had to wait till till you got through a little bit of it. You know, we're gonna have to chit chat one of these days about the protest. You did great. I heard you had people shouting my dad's name. Um, so definitely, and I love the hip hip cheerio. Do love it because I was a little scared that it was gonna be a hip hip hooray in there. Not gonna lie, I started doing the whole don't do it, don't do it, and then cheerio came out, and that was great. Um, but so at this birthday party, this is supposed to be in a secure location. Like people could not just walk into this location. But in the 80s, everyone, ASHO, AOLA, a lot of them, their security was not good if a 3-year-old can get to secure areas. I don't care who my mother was. The fact that a 3-year-old non-Scientologist, just a child, can sneak into income, that should tell you right there, their security wasn't that good. It has obviously been a lot better. Um, I don't know if they upgraded it or they just made it so secure that you just can't. They definitely don't want families talking to each other. Like me going to Golden Era or Golden Era Productions, also known as the Gold Base, and anywhere in that location, even if I go there and I'm knocking on the gates and I scream till my heart's desire, there's a 99.9% chance I'm not going to see my dad. They're going to give me stone cold silence. Now, in the 80s, was it like that? Probably not. But today, they do get off on keeping families away. You know, I talked to this one person who wanted to help get people out of Scientology, but her child was still in. And because of that, it was, they just didn't want to play any part of it. They had to wash their hands of all the thoughts they were having, because if they didn't stop those thoughts, they were going to lose their child. How does a mother get over that? How does a mother get over if she wants to help people and she wants to put them in a better place and she wants to see her child have children and be a grandma, and she wants them to live happily ever after without being tortured or rice and beans or $45 a week? She can't, because if she makes a stink, she's going to lose her child. If she raises her hand and says, I no longer believe, she's going to lose her child. Her only repercussion would be going to the ethics office, begging for forgiveness, donating gobs and gobs of money to say, look, I'm so sorry I did this. I had a momentary lapse of judgment. Why don't I go ahead and pay for 250,000 hours, or even like 2,500 hours of just auditing intensives, and I will beg the group for forgiving me. And she'll have to go around and ask people to sign this form, and this form will basically be like her bashing herself. Like, I was such an out ethics person. I believe that people tricked me, and I am, you know, not smart, and now the group is going to save me, and I really want back into the group so that I can be part of this journey to save the world. It's going to be the biggest hog shit you've ever read, and they will have no choice, because that is the only way they're going to see their child. So for me, honestly, knowing that a mother would have to do that to see her child, so our roles are a little reversed. If I want to see my father, I would have to go to the ethics officer and ask for permission, or it basically has to get to a point where they're either going to let him go. And so, I got an email the other day. What if me being loud enough doesn't do any good? What if it doesn't? Then I get louder. Because if each one of us gets a little louder, then that's a little louder that someone's not being. It's a little bit more positive, because if you look at it like a realist, it's really hard to see the positive. Because look at what some of the people that have gone through. Amy, look at what you've had to go through. You're in the Sea Org for 20 years, and then they buy your trash. Like, if you want to buy my trash, hold on, I need to pick up poop. And you're more than welcome to buy my dog's poop while you're buying my trash. So at least I'm getting something funny out of it. If I suddenly see all my dog's, fecal matter gone, I'm going to laugh. There you go. Have fun going through that bag. But that's what they do. They harass people and they hurt people and they try to divide. And then it gets to the point where you don't know who to trust and you don't know who to believe and you don't know who's really your friend except certain people. Certain people, you've got that. My Nana gave me intuition. Right there, that person's good. And then you start to see, hey, that person doesn't have the same goals as I do. They're trying to manipulate the situation. Hey, they're trying to kind of twist it their direction. That's the person I don't want. Because if you're not here to help, you're here to hinder. And helping doesn't have to be standing up in front of a mirror. It doesn't have to be yelling to YouTube. It doesn't have to be going to protest because those are scary. But in the same breath, just remember there's people out there that want to help. But there's people out there that are going to be trying to be a little sneaky, little, how did that thing go? Because I saw it on YouTube. The slithereth nay, just the slithereth nay. Because that's what they do. Okay, let me grab some of these things. I'm definitely going to get to the point. I do hop around. That's kind of what I do. I also got put onto another medication to help me with my anxiety because, I was starting to do the trembles. Okay, Liz, you can put aftermath info in the trash. I absolutely could. But I'm keeping all information. Like for some reason, my mom has given full permission to have all of the mail. So she went and checked the mail Friday. Does her little waddle to get the mail, and then I go and I help her. And then I turn around and there's 10 pieces of mail. 10 pieces. And, I sent them to Aaron like, hey, this is what I got today. Because that's every single day. Every single day. And my mom should not qualify, or she's PTS, or from what she stated, she doesn't believe. That's a lie. She believes. Don't believe that. That's a lie. Okay, PTS for life. You have the best backdrops around. I'm a huge Yankees fan, and all of this around, almost all of it is from you guys. Every single piece. Because I wanted you to show how thankful and how grateful I was. Some of it was mine, like the Pokemon stuff is mine. Some of it you guys sent to me. And that means the world to me. Because in this whole situation, in this whole thing, now remember everybody, my story came out in May. Okay? May, June, July, August, September, October. October is when I started talking out, when I started doing a lot more of my live. So I've really only been doing this a month, but I would join lives and then I didn't talk about stuff. I talked about anything, but I wasn't trying to make a YouTube until I was told, hey, you could get him thrown out. Then I'm like, okay, let's do this. Stephanie, right? Stephanie, SPTV breaks my heart. And if it didn't break your heart, realistically, every one of you guys have listened to Liz, question your email address, please. That would be Liz, or no, sorry, hold on. Almost gave you my personals. The one that I use the most is savebobferris@gmail.com. Right? Yeah, savebobferris@gmail.com. Because the other one I don't even look at, to be honest. I only follow that one to the best of my ability. So let's see. So hopefully that answers you. Let's see. Let me try to look at some of these. Okay. Okay, Aurora. It's definitely a cult when you're required to pay ungodly amounts of money to get forgiveness. Anytime now again, I did dabble in Catholicism because that's what my family was. Every time that plate came around, they all threw money in all the time, and it never made a lot of sense to me, but it was more like, if you had it, give it. That's how it felt. But with Scientology, if you have it, you better already have given it. Why are you keeping it for yourself? Why are you being so out ethics? That's how Scientology believes, that if you're not giving them every dime you have to continue your way up the bridge. And again, everybody, this bridge, hold on, where'd it go? Where'd it go, everybody? Oh, no, don't fly. There. God dang it. Ugh, they need to print a better one. But there's a lot of things to look at, a lot of things to do. Embrace our gingers. I'm not a ginger. I have the red face, but I guess I have like little hints of red, but I'm, just wait till it's summer. Then all of a sudden it goes crazy. Okay. Jamie Palmer, Liz comment. As far as I know, you can't get a medal for spraining your ankle, right? Because if you actually look up what he did, it's pretty much like he had some foot issues. Yep, everybody giving love to Miss Amy. Oh, we have a Jacksonville, Florida here. I did live in Florida for a little bit. My mom was the LRH comm for Flag. And that's Florida, the main Florida base, the one that's in the center of town where they're buying up everything. Let's see, making sure I didn't miss any questions. I know a few people had to bow out to go get some sleep. I never want to keep anybody up past sleeping. I watch everybody on replay. Some people I join in on a regular basis, just because I have to catch up. Hey, sorry, really down tonight, feeling really invisible and irrelevant. You're never irrelevant, ever. You're never invisible. I see you. And sometimes if you just need to hear that, just remember you're never invisible and you're never irrelevant. My issue has no one has ever been anything but kind and loving to me. Here's the thing, even if everyone is kind and loving to you and you're just feeling like you feel invisible, always reach out. Always reach out to someone, because sometimes feeling invisible means that you're missing something, that you're asking someone to be there. And if you need someone to be there, reach out. Because, for me, I tell you guys all the time, and I know I sound like a broken record. And for that, you know what? I'm not sorry. I had a mental health crisis when I truly realized that Scientology was not real. The things that I was focusing on, the courses that I focused on were bullshit. That broke my heart. The auditing I went through, the hours and hours and hours of sec checks, it broke me. It broke me. I thought nobody would listen to me. No one believed me. No one's gonna be on my side. But here I was saying, oh, Scientology's good. I don't believe in this, but this really helps people. But does it? Because I'm going to say no, not unless you got money. Scientology only wants rich people. They don't want poor people. Parallel Jen, just because. Thank you so much. Oh, Amy, if you pay $500 to be interrogated, you might just be a Scientologist. That's right. Point for the great Amy Scobie. But yes, yeah. But here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. If you ever feel alone, like nobody's listening, if you feel overwhelmed, like today could be your last day, there is an amazing number called 988. And it's just a 9, an 8, and an 8. They're there to help. And they gave me the tools to save my life. Never think you're alone. Never think you're not important. Because I promise you, every one of your friends, your family, anyone that's ever met you would rather hear you talk than hear a eulogy. And sometimes you just need to be reminded, I'd rather hear you talk. I'd rather hear you talk to me about anything than be the one that's listening to your eulogy. Okay. Miss J, nice to see you. I'm listening. It's bedtime here. Alex has my email for the merch stuff. Okay. Thank you so very much. I totally spaced it, everybody. Sorry about that. But I'll pay more attention. Okay. Okay, family, I'm off. Duty calls. That's right. Is it almost time? It is almost time. Yes, the bridge is total bullshit. The bridge is absolute total bullshit, but it costs you millions of dollars. What other religion will tell you that in order to be a good standing person, you have to drop millions of dollars? You've got to say goodbye to your family. You've got to hand over your children. And if you don't hand over your children, you're not a good Scientologist. If you're not willing to give them everything they need, you're not a good Scientologist. So no other religion, if no other religion does that, then absolutely it's fake. Okay. So here's the big statement. 500 per hour, Matt said. I've paid 500 per hour for to be interrogated. You might be a Scientologist. Yes. And interrogations, when we say interrogations, people, you get a whole lot of this. You get a whole lot of, what was that? Right there. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? Okay. What was that? Right there. What was that thought? That one right there. You know how many times you got that and you just started making shit up because you literally was like, man, I hope I don't pee on this chair. I hope someone's listening because I hope I can get this all out. Man, I'm really hungry. And if you have those thoughts suddenly, just because, yeah, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if you stop a sec check, they say that you're going to have to start over from the beginning. That means question 1. And if you were at question 19 out of 20, it don't matter. You're starting back at 1. Okay. Miss Sunrise Dawn, my uncle unalived himself 40 plus years ago. It affects my family to this day. You always matter to someone. Absolutely. Absolutely. We all matter. There are times that we're going to have off days. There's times that, you're not going to be in the right frame of mind. But you also have to be aware, people. Sometimes when you're in that bad space, sometimes there's people that are saying that they have your back and they're really fueling the fire. They're giving you that person doesn't love you. That person does not love you. My mom did it to me all the time. Carrie does not love you. She doesn't love you. And you know how much that would devastate me, because here I was completely in love with her, losing track of my reality, because here I was like thinking that death is the only option because I gave this cult, 40 years of my life, not to mention the years in the Sea Org, the heartache, the sec checks, the wanting to jump off a building, that there's also snakes in the water. So please be wary that sometimes there's snakes in the water, and find someone that you truly trust. And if you need to vent to them, hey, if you need to vent to me, you are more than welcome to email at me at any time. Because again, I'd rather listen to you vent and come up with an idea than hear that you're no longer here. Because that's what Scientology loves. They love to drive people to kill themselves, because that's one less problem that they had to worry about. Okay. It's not me being nasty. It's not me trying to scare you. I'm not trying to fill your head full of smoke. This is real life. This is what they do. And once you start to realize who's filling your head with smoke, that's usually the person that doesn't really have the correct direction. So again, if you feel yourself slipping, things like that, if you're just at the beginning where it's like, I kind of feel like that, you can reach out to a therapist, reach out to a psychiatrist, but reach out to 988. They're going to be there, because I used to say all the time, and then a friend of mine corrected me, they saved my life. They saved my life. And then she goes, they didn't save your life. They gave you the tools to save your own life. And that meant so much to me because it was almost like me taking back the power. It wasn't this imaginary person, it was me taking back the power. And that's what happens for me when I rehash my memories. I feel down sometimes. But then I go over my journaling, I talk to my therapist, I talk to my psychiatrist, I talk to anybody that will listen. I talk to my wife about anything, and that helps me. So always find someone that you trust, someone that has your back. You may not really believe this, but you know, babe Angel, you're the best. Liz, after all you've been through, you're there for others. Absolutely. Because you know why I'm there for others? Because someone was there for me. People have been there for me. People have been in my shoes and still reach out. I want everyone to reach out because I'd rather you be here. Because sometimes that's what we need, everybody. Rehashing scary memories will cause ups and downs. Because it's causing a little bit of a down for me right now at the idea that my dad knew I was being abused and did nothing. But that's my fear. That's my fear of what he may have known. But I don't know what he knew. So I'm not going to hold it against him until I know for a certainty. And once I know, then we'll go from there. But please remember, everyone, sometimes this is a little hard. Sometimes this is easy. Sometimes you just have questions you want to ask, and sometimes you just don't know what to say. Don't believe that hype that you say nothing if you don't know what to say. Say everything. Okay. Faye, I'm okay. Not about to unalive, just particularly tough day. And we do have tough days. I'm not saying that you feel the worst end of it. I'm not saying anybody feels the worst end of it. Right now, I feel a little jittery because I don't know if my dad knew that I was being abused and still left me. But realistically, it's made me a little sad. But we all do the best that we can. Whistleblowing good witch. I was considering doing the same thing. I think I heard the wrong part of that conversation, so I'm sorry, guys, if you did that. If you guys haven't had a chance to watch Miss Amy Scobie, she just did a live with Alex, and we love the Miss Amy. I always love it, and her dress attire today is on point. I might do a little live a little bit later to, I don't know yet. I might. It's only 4:00 after all. Oh, hold on. Jamie Palmer, Liz, I was bullied in middle school. It brought those kinds of thoughts, but I also knew that doing that to my parents would destroy them. I held on to those moments. And sometimes, you know what? If it's just one little moment that you have to hold on to, then hold it. Hold it tight. Wrap it in bubble wrap, wrap it in whatever you need to, because sometimes it's the little things that save our lives. Okay, so again, I have ups, I have downs, I have good, I have bad. We all have those days. I'm not perfect. I have lived a shitty life, and then I was shitty to people. I was so scared to tell them my truth that I told them partial truths. And I'm not proud of that. I am not. Since then, it's come out, everything came out. I finally was like, "Bleh," and gave them all the truth. And then I no longer had that feeling, but absolutely. Absolutely. We have good days. We have bad days. Remember, we're all human. We all bleed the same color, the same bloody color. Okay. Imaginations. I just started watching because of Aaron, but I am an avid follower and wish you all who have started new lives outside the cult. Absolutely. I am living my best life. I really am. because my best life is saving someone else from becoming me. And so if that means that I shout to the heavens that this is what happened to me, I was starving, I was hungry, I was digging ditches, I was putting, wood stripper on my bare hands and having my hands feel like my skin was melting off. Having friends that you thought were your friends, whether it was a celebrity or another Sea Org member, turn on you in the blink of an eye, where suddenly this friendship meant nothing. Because sometimes, and that happened a lot. That happened on a daily basis. If you got put into lower conditions, anybody that was your friend is gone. Is gone. And it's hard to rebuild that, because for some reason it's like the unforgivable thing, And what got me kicked out? I tried to jump off the building. And because of that, that saved my life. Otherwise, I would have gone to Florida and I would have been doing training. But trying to jump off the building got me an avenue out. Got me a gnarly drug habit because I didn't know how to deal with it. But this helps me talk about everything. You're all more than welcome to email me at savebobferris@gmail.com. I do want you to remember, please subscribe. Please smash that like. It helps the algorithm somehow. Please always double check and see if you're still subscribed. Because yes, the amount goes from this many to this many, and then, but I know it's all gaining. But I'm doing great, and I appreciate each and every one of you being here. And please remember, you're loved, you're cherished, you are cared for. So thank you all. Remember, don't forget to tip your waiter or waitress. Smash that like, hit subscribe. And until we meet again, I want you all to have an amazing rest of your night.